After sustaining a foot injury earlier this season, Utah State wide receiver Jalen Royals is going to miss the rest of the season, but he has committed to the Senior Bowl, so there's hope that he's going to be able to showcase what he's got down there. So let's dive into the tape and talk about what makes him a special player in this class and why I think he can go inside the top 60. I think he's going to be a second-round pick, in large part because of all the tools that he possesses. I think that he's one of the most complete wide receivers in the first 2 days of the draft, and I love watching things like this because he lines on the outside 78% of the time for Utah State, but he has inside versatility. And when you're looking at a guy who's 6'5", 205, not 6'5", 6 foot, 205 pounds, you have to be able to win in a variety of ways. You don't have the height to maybe go up and get anybody. You don't have the size, the speed and quickness necessarily from these smaller, shiftier guys. You're in the middle, but he does everything very well. He has speed, he's got twitch, he's got burst. And what I like about this rep right here is you've got this DB with inside leverage, right? He's trying to run the post a little bit to the inside here, maybe more of an over route type dig. But what I like, again, is what you see from Royals. He's inside leverage, right? So he's going to move this DB outside with outside intention through the stem, come out here, make him flip his hips around, and then cut underneath. Get open on the middle of the field right there with that little jab step to the outside, really sell it on the post, and then come up underneath right there, catching the football. That's what you want to see. Have all of those tools at your disposal to manipulate, kind of almost arcing it inside, then to the outside, attacking the outside shoulder of that DB, forcing the hips around, and then getting to the inside where you make the catch there. So he's a very good, nuanced player that has multiple tools, like I said, in his tool bag, but he always attacks the football too. If he's in a position to, he's not going to let that ball travel to his chest. He's going to put his hands out, and he's going to attack it, and he's going to make the grab, convincingly so. They still will move him around a little bit. You got a condensed split right here on the left-hand side, a little bit of a delayed screen to Jalen Royals, and I love what he does after the catch. Got very great vision to be able to see players coming one way. He has the burst to accelerate it to the edge. I think that this is one of those plays where you see the short area stuff right here. So you've got someone kind of splitting a block right here, and Royals is going to attack him first like a running back does, and then he's going to bounce this outside with that quickness of a real yards after the catch player. I think most people have talked about him, most people who have talked about him know that he's a threat after the catch. This is why. He has that short area quickness. He can stay square in his attack right here, and he gets low, right? He's able to really burst through because he can stay low, keep his center of gravity there, and then he attacks inside and outside, and then he's off to the races. So we saw that first clip where he's using that nuance to be able to create separation to the inside against inside leverage. This is pure yards after the catch feel for the game, and that's what I love about that. And to be honest with you, I see this too much with him at Utah State. There's no space for him to really work right there, but when you don't have space to work on the outside, it's going to be towards the inside, and he's a trusted player over the middle of the field. Once again, slight inside leverage from the DB, because why would you be on the outside? There's not much room there. So you want to have that inside leverage. You'd like to see them with a little bit more, because again, if he's got less room on the outside, let's make it work to my advantage, right? As a DB, but he's going to do a nice job again, settling in, taking up that space, and then just getting to the middle of the field where there is nobody. There's no one there. And I like that from his perspective. I think he quickly breaks for the first down, makes the catch over the middle of the field. Like I said, he's a trusted player over the middle from Utah State's offense. He will do the dirty work over the middle, catching like that, take some hits, and then I think he's got awareness. This would probably be a play that you might be able to get away with in the NFL in terms of get up and keep going, but that's what you want to see. I'm not down. I'm going to get up and keep running with the football. So while he lines up too close to the sideline for my liking at Utah State, they will move him around a little bit. And this one, you get to see him be aligned to the actual, got space on both sides. So a little bit more of a condensed split from him. But when you're coming out of Utah State, some of these smaller schools, you're going to play at the Senior Bowl, you're going to play against some DBs that are more physical. How are you going to be able to react to that? Now, I do think he has the hand usage to be able to combat like physical press, but when it's soft press and it's more through the route, I'm going to be interested to see how he adjusts to that, because you have that little bit of a hesitation stutter release to the inside where he's going to get that little bit of movement upfield, but then he's going to try to work back across the face of that DB. And that's where you see the timing get thrown off and he stays with him in that hip pocket. So just something to monitor for. Again, he's 6 foot, 205 pounds. So he has the size for his height to be able to withstand that. And I do think he's displayed the hand usage to be able to combat physical press, to be able to swipe it away and get vertical, but just monitoring how he's going to deal with some of that physicality throughout the route at the Senior Bowl is something I'm very interested in seeing. And they'll stack him up too. He's lined up on the line a lot. He's lined up in stack formations, bunch formations, things like that to get him some free releases. But I like what he does recognizing the quarterback. So he's got that over route to the end zone, but he sees the quarterback actually getting out of the pocket. So coming up here, turning into this DB right here, he's not open, but immediately he sees the quarterback getting out of the pocket. So what's he going to do? He's going to help get open, right? Be available to your quarterback. What are you doing in that rep post route to be able to do that? So right there, you see the contact with the safety, and he sees the quarterback getting out of the pocket here. So I'm going to uncover with the DB that carried him upfield right here, taking on that receiver coming across his face. He's got space to work with, right? So there he is. You see the hip sync and the deceleration there at the top to be able to create that openness. And then, the wide receiver, the underneath player right there, number 22, gets his hand on it and it's almost picked off. So that's just a really good play by the defense. But recognizing space, being able to have that feel for it, that natural ability to kind of sink your hips, get into space when the quarterback needs you to, is a very underrated part of his game. And I think he identifies space pretty well. They don't always have him sit down a ton in zone coverages and things like that. That's something that's going to come with time as well. But overall, very good feel for space. And I do think he has a bit of a, underdeveloped route tree. It's Utah State, so I'm not hugely mad about that. Runs a lot of curls, goes, posts, over routes from that outside X position. So, and then some screens as well. So there's not a hugely diverse aspect of his route tree that he's going to have, but I do think that he runs very good routes. So here he is against soft press, right? We've talked about soft press before, when that DB is not going to be physical in your face, but how are you going to create separation there? Again, working him to the outside. That's what I like to see. Inside leverage. I need to get to the inside on this over route. How am I going to do it? Well, we're going to attack upfield first, right? So you see that little stutter release, the intention to it is towards the sideline. And all game, what he does is he will stutter and then go upfield, right? So he's mixing up his release package. It's not huge, it's not diverse, but it's effective, where he does the same thing over and over again. He makes that DB feel like he's going to go upfield and up the sideline, and this time he comes underneath, right? There's that hand. You see as the DB's pushed upfield, he tries to get a hand on him, and Royals are going to do a nice job slapping it away, swimming over that, and he's up underneath, right? So here's that in route. He attacks the ball in the air. Once again, he's able to make that guy miss in space. That's just nuanced control of what the situation is. That you have a DB with inside leverage. How are you going to run your in route? How are you going to create that separation? The camera guy needs to do a better job. I'm thinking Royals are going to be going all over the place, but I love what he's doing from this route running perspective. He is a technician, in my opinion, from the short area quickness to having that hip sync and then manipulation tactics throughout his route. And really the selling of the release, even though he doesn't have a ton of them based off of the games that I've watched, is how you're going to be able to win at the next level. You do the same thing enough, you make that DB think you're going to keep doing it, and then you adjust and you attack it in a different way. So here's that bunch formation I was talking about, where he will be lined up in a bunch. A little bit of a delayed release right here, just slightly, while the other receivers are going the opposite direction. He's releasing up the field, getting that the DB right there to believe he's going to go inside. That's just intention, right? Comes right here, comes out when you know you've got a player that's going to kind of come towards you. Hopefully you can see that blue on blue. You have that DB kind of condensing the space towards you. And this is where I like to see that acceleration, but also just the top of the stem right here from Royals, where he's going to kind of fake to the inside a little bit to freeze that DB and then blow by him. So I think he's a fast guy. I think he's about 4.4. I think he's got 4.4 speed. That's good. It's good for NFL players. And he's not going to be like a 4.3 guy. And even if he is, he doesn't showcase that on the field, in my opinion, but he's good. He's got good enough deep speed. And again, there's the ball tracking. with the concentration, and then the ability right there to not get taken down with a leg tackle guy diving at your feet. So he's got good contact balance. We've seen that a couple of times already where he doesn't want to go down. He fights after the catch for yards after the catch, and he's able to do it here, showcasing some really good ball tracking. Again, attacking the football in the air. I can't tell you how important that is with hand catching technique, where he's not going to be a guy you have to worry about with bad technique drops. A few concentration drops here and there, but overall, I like what he does from that perspective. And then the yards after the catch is legitimate. It's real. He is a threat to take it to the house, and he can make guys miss in space, and there it is. He's off to the races. When he's able to, again, keep himself leveraged in space, here's that little bit of a walk release underneath. Boom, right there. He's open, and then he's going to square up that DB right here. Keeps himself square. Center of gravity is low, and then he thinks he's going to go one way, he goes the other, and then he bursts onto the scene. I think his burst is better than his top speed. You see that burst really show up after the break point. You see it show up after the catch. His catch to attack is very quick, and then he's able to really get downfield and into players when he's got space right here. He's just so good at keeping himself square, and that motion, that center of gravity down. Whew, number 21 had no idea where he was going. He's fallen over his feet, and Royals does a great job, again, taking this one to the house. So overall, this is one of the more underrated wide receivers from a total package perspective. He's got good speed. He's got a varied-ish release package, but the important thing is that he varies it, he mixes it up. He doesn't do the exact same thing over and over again, and then when he does, it's because he has a plan for doing it later and mixing it up then. So route running is there. The attention to detail is there. Hands. He's really got a whole bunch of hard catches and tough catches down the sideline on his highlight reel as well. I just didn't have access to those to showcase you guys, but if you want to see him, go look him up. So he is a player that I'm probably going to have in my top 60. I love what he does. I think he's kind of like Stephon Diggs. I'll be very honest with you. That's what my comp for him is. So I don't do comps very much, as you guys who watch these videos know, but that has been stuck in my head. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. And if you see that as well, I want you guys to either at me on Twitter at InHarmsWay19 or in the Discord and say who you think he reminds you of. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on that. So please, if you guys have not checked out the YouTube page, go over there and check out the videos that I've done. Like, subscribe, as you guys all know. But you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.